So, Yakolin Norden is here. She is senior teacher from Amsterdam, and we'd like to ask you some questions. First of all, welcome back to Moscow, because you come quite frequently, and I guess maybe not all the teachers know you, so it would be great to introduce you to Russian audience of critical alignment teachers. Could you tell us when and why did you start practicing yoga?
Yes, I will, Ayla. Thank you for being here. And I started doing yoga. Well, first of all, I like to move. I always went to gymnastics when I was a little girl. And then in school there was this gymnastic teacher, and she was trying to do some yoga exercises, just laying on the floor, putting your hands on your body and feel your breathing. And I thought, oh, what's this? So I was really interested because it brought me more insight, and I was made curious. So I started to investigate when I was 16, and also when I was living on my own in Amsterdam for the first time, very young, 18 years, and I bought books to read about yoga. And I started visiting some yoga schools in the city just to see how you could practice yoga.
Yes.
And there were very different ways to practice yoga, with belts and tools, or on a very soft way, just listening and breathing. And actually both sides didn't appeal to me so much that I stayed. And then one day there was a little yoga studio around the corner of my street where I live. It was very small, and sometimes I was looking inside and I thought, well, it's so small, can't be that good, and it's not big. But it was very practical to go there just for the time and between work. So one day I just joined, and that was the yoga school, or the little yoga practice of Gert. And the first lesson was that we were doing a handstand, and I really enjoyed it. I never had a handstand in a yoga class, and also there was a lot of detail in how to move, and so I was triggered in the way that I was encouraged to do big things and also be aware how to do things. So at that time I was in my 20s, I think 28, 29, I started following classes at a regular basis at Gert Studio.
Did he already call it critical alignment back then?
No, it was called Bharata Institute, and it was really the time that he was also dancing, dancer, and that's why I think he's so connected with what we are discussing a lot, passage of movement. It's all about movement. It's movement in life, and it's about stillness, but in stillness also there's movement, and it's not strict. And if you are a dancer, I think there were a lot of dancers also in the class. He's very easy related to movement. I like to dance as well, so but he was giving structure to the movement, and I've traveled along during his time that he was investigating how are we actually doing asanas in combination with what do we experience in daily life. And that's a very sensitive process, because then it becomes very personal.
Yeah.
And that's the moment he started to use tools, and I thought, well, what's going to happen? It was weird, but I was ready. I think I've been always open to follow also that this is a movement, and it doesn't stop only by this prop. Maybe there will be another. I thought, oh, this is where we are moving in, and I didn't know where to go. where it would end. Is there an ending? I didn't know, but that triggered me also to think for myself. So it was not longer a structure or a method that was pushed on me. There was not a teacher to say you have to do it like this, but I was encouraged to think for myself.
Yeah, so you just felt natural attraction to it, I guess?
Yeah, there was a natural attraction, intuitive, but it wasn't always easy. I just scream, just say what I have to do. I don't know, you never say. That was the first year. It took me a year. He never said, okay, that's all right, now you're doing it good. I thought, I don't know what is good, so tell me, when is it perfect? He never said, and then this click, it changed in my head. I thought, okay, he's not the one who's telling it has to be perfect or you're doing it good. I have to find out for myself.
That's a very interesting change of perspective, actually.
Yeah, it is. It took a long time, took a year, I think.
Oh, well.
Please tell me.
You know, a year, maybe not that long, actually. I see. And then you became teacher of critical alignment, right?
Yeah, it took a long time. I just had my work, and I had my experience in working with young adults, children and parents. So and I also did an education before. I studied art and history, and and to work with young children as well. So I had always felt the connection with people. I was happy when I'm in a group of people, as you notice when we're together. And I like to be with people. Yeah, interaction. Yeah, and it was only when I was 41 I followed the teacher training, and at 42 I think I skipped all my other work and became an independent yoga teacher.
Well, you have a lot of teaching experience. What were the main changes which you saw in your students over those years?
Well, at first when I started teaching, I didn't see anything. I couldn't see even the students. I was just blind, doing my own thing. I was scared to look at the students. I was only busy with myself. Am I saying the right words? Can I do this pose? And but when I was more at ease, I started to see the reaction, and I was starting to developing in silence what was happening around me. And the changes, the most important changes, I think, is that there is no restlessness anymore. And that the big, great emotional reactions on exercises or between asanas, that they disappear. The change in the students is that they calm, and that they learn to feel more inside, and that's why you learn as a teacher to, especially in the passive movements, that you join the students in this exercise and you just breathe with them, stay with them, and then guide them through the class and take them to a next level, and also take them to the edge, I think, of the comfort zone. Yes. Not to stay there, but to listen to that moment, or prepare yourself to that point, and then see what's beyond. And I think in time you will learn that by delaying also your lessons and attitude to the students, that it's bringing them a lot of confidence and bringing them at ease. And I think that is what you feel. So then it doesn't matter if you have 3 people in the group, or 10 or 20 or 30, it can be the same atmosphere. You're all going to the same, and that is, it takes time. So there will always be a restless or a new student, but don't be distracted as a teacher. You know, the whole group and your guidance will carry each other, and grow
further. Well, that's a very good advice to beginners, teachers.
Oh yeah, well, I was already going to the teacher, but it's feeding each other. So it's not that I can see, well, she's now jumping up in headstand, okay, job finished. No, now she jumps up. Now what's happening? Now I'm curious. So my curiosity towards that student, and at the same time I hope that the student also will be curious, what happens now if I'm standing, and now, and that you are able to be together in that same movement, although I'm here and the other is there.
Yeah, I guess we can call it awakening curiosity.
Yes,
basically teaching.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, and what do you find most difficult in teaching?
Timing.
Oh, I know that problem.
Yeah, timing is still because I know where I want to bring them, and for myself, heart is going, and I always go a little bit like this, and in the end I am there also, but sometimes I really have to push myself forward. Don't stay too long in the first start of the lesson, or don't be too long in the middle. Just let them feel the transformation, because that's important to take home. And also that point is very, it takes time to let them experience that. So it's not at the end you feel for a short time, oh wow, yeah, that's the difference now in between. No, we have to really incorporate this end moment to take home with us, because it's not only in the
in the
class itself, but and for myself it's also and that's more on a personal level, especially in therapeutic classes, but it's a very human interaction that it took for me a long time to really talk about personal feelings, because I'm also very Dutch and very practical, and I'm not so emotional, but it's you have to learn how to use the right words on the right moment, and that's and to be touched yourself. And I know when it's happening, because I feel shivering myself, and then I think, oh well, somewhere in the class it will end or will also place, and it's always a bit scary, but I know it's a good feeling. But that's how I will grow now. Yeah, for myself.
Well, I guess that kind of thrill is that necessity, because that's what makes your teaching still interesting after all those years.
Yes, it is. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you grow. You keep on growing. Yeah, we're talking about layers of layers of layers of layers, and letting go the tension, and letting go the willpower to be good, and yeah.
And what do you think are necessary qualities for people who want to become yoga teachers and critical alignment teachers?
Well, I think there has to be a need to connect with people, and to feel interested in people, interested in how mentally issues and worldwide social issues are connected in our awareness, and our awareness is very much in our body as well. So I think that's an interest. Can be any. There are not special qualities. Everybody can relate to each other if we are capable to listen. You have to listen if you are able to observe. And if you are able, if you are willing to learn with each other, and if you are willing to investigate together, and also thinking that the quality, and it grows, but also the insight that I cannot solve your problem, but I have to give you all the possibilities and guidance. But the moment that you take yourself as a student the responsibility, then you can start changing. So it's
a lot of people expect protocol, like do this, do that, and I guess it's not the way.
No, and it's especially in this method, I think you have to be very sure of your technique. You have it all in your rucksack.
Yes.
You carry it with you, like me, all my papers always, and they're all around me, and the book is all. I never have time to look at it. It's all there, and but at the moment itself, you have to trust yourself that it's there, and then communicate and just try to see to what you see around you. And I was giving this example the last 4 days when I was teaching. It's like you are a conductor, you know, standing for this orchestra. You're always half a second ahead. Yeah, and you, but it's a whole group, and some of the time you pay more attention to the violin, so sometimes you pay more attention of the asanas, or sometimes you're with the drums, or you're more with the breathing, but it's a whole. So as a teacher, you can.
Beautiful image.
As a teacher, you can play all. You can instruct and use all the instruments. You can use. You can use the protocol of relaxation, you know, and movement and strength and coordination, and then you bind it together. As a whole. That's your guidance, but the atmosphere or how it sounds, it's at that moment, and it's not from a paper, but it's what we produce
something alive
at that moment. It's really alive.
What advice would you give to beginners teachers?
Just enjoy your teaching and try to be creative and just play and enjoy your work and be with the people.
I see. I guess that's the most important, to feel joy.
Connected.
Connect. Thank you.